By the end of her life, Queen Victoria had buried a husband, children, and grandchildren, along with any remaining hope of personal happiness. She ruled the greatest empire the world had ever known, a realm so vast that the sun never set upon it. Her name commanded obedience across continents. Yet behind the crown existed a woman surrounded not by triumph, but by silence. To the public, she represented order, discipline, and strength. Inside the palace, however, the atmosphere felt cold and hollow. The walls seemed to absorb grief, and the corridors echoed with absence. Power remained, but warmth slowly disappeared. Before the crown hardened her spirit, Victoria was deeply in love. She was young, emotionally vulnerable, and desperately attached to one man. Prince Albert was not merely her husband, he was her emotional center and intellectual balance. Albert advised her privately, calmed her insecurities, and guided her decisions. He softened her temper and helped her carry the burden of rule. In many ways, he governed beside her, unseen but indispensable. When Albert fell ill and died in 1861, the palace seemed to freeze in place. Victoria collapsed inward, emotionally shattered. What followed was not ordinary mourning, but a permanent rupture within her identity. Albert's death did not close a chapter, it stopped time itself. Victoria descended into absolute mourning. Mirrors were covered, music was silenced, and celebration was forbidden. The empire advanced, but its queen remained trapped in grief. She dressed in black every single day for nearly 40 years. Not as royal custom, but as a vow of loyalty. Albert's rooms were preserved exactly as he left them, his clothes laid out daily as if he might return. Death was no longer an ending within the palace. It became ritual. Grief became routine. Mourning became identity. Victoria did not move past loss. She built her entire world around it. The palace transformed into a living mausoleum. Curtains blocked the light. Footsteps softened, and laughter vanished completely. Power still existed, but it was exercised through shadows and restraint rather than confidence. Her grief did not remain private. It spread into every relationship she touched. Her children grew beneath emotional weight, a rigid discipline, and constant pressure to meet impossible expectations. Affection was rationed. Love became conditional. To disappoint the queen was to reopen a wound that never healed. Motherhood, for Victoria, was shaped entirely by loss. She interfered deeply in her children's marriages, driven by fear of losing them too. The world felt dangerous to her. Control became her shield against pain, even when it destroyed happiness. Servants witnessed what the public never saw. Behind closed doors, Victoria would sit motionless for hours, staring at Albert's portrait. Her lips moved softly, speaking to someone who could no longer answer. Those conversations never truly ended. They simply became one-sided. The queen lived among the dead as comfortably as she lived among the living. Letters arrived daily from across the empire. Her replies grew colder and more mechanical. Government continued efficiently, but empathy slowly disappeared from her words. Her eldest son, Bertie, bore the heaviest burden. Victoria believed his behavior had contributed to Albert's illness. The blame was rarely spoken aloud, but it existed in every disappointed glance. As years passed, death continued its quiet march. Children, yet grandchildren, fell ill. Trusted companions vanished. Each loss reinforced Victoria's belief that love always led to suffering. Though she ruled an empire, Victoria withdrew from public life. She governed from shadows, rarely appearing before her people. Critics questioned her absence, unaware of her emotional imprisonment. Newspapers whispered. Politicians worried, yet no one dared confront her directly. Mourning itself had become part of the empire's identity. Grief wore the crown. Inside the palace, death became routine. Loss no longer shocked her. It confirmed her expectations. Power offered no immunity. Attachment felt like weakness. On certain nights, servants reported hearing quiet weeping from the queen's chambers. Not loud sobs, but restrained tears that lasted until dawn. By morning, she emerged, composed and distant. Victoria commissioned monuments to Albert across the empire. Statues, halls, and memorials rose everywhere. These were not acts of remembrance. That of refusal, forgetting, felt like betrayal. Her daughters married into European royalty, spreading British influence, but they carried something else with them. Their motherless figure of joy. They learned happiness was temporary and love borrowed time. With age, Victoria herself appeared ghost-like. Always dressed in black, always distant, she no longer smiled for portraits. Rule became obligation rather than purpose. What few realized was that Victoria refused to heal. To move forward felt like disloyalty. Pain became proof of devotion. Grief turned into a prison she willingly entered. That prison shaped generations. Children learned emotional restraint. Grandchildren inherited silence. The crown no longer protected, it suffocated. Meanwhile, the British Empire expanded. Railways grew, industry flourished, and global influence reached its peak. The world saw progress, unaware of the fractured soul at its center. Victoria's advisors adapted to her sorrow. Meetings became brief. Decisions were written, not spoken. Authority remained, but presence vanished. When her beloved servant John Brown died, Victoria mourned him deeply, scandalizing the court. Judgment no longer mattered to her. Death had taught her that loss was the only truth. In old age, Victoria lived more among memories than people. Letters, photographs, and relics replaced human connection. She preferred ghosts to the living. Near the end, Victoria no longer ruled time, she ruled memory. The palace remained locked in the moment Albert died. The present held no meaning. When Queen Victoria died in 1901, the world mourned an era, but her family mourned something else. A woman who never allowed herself to live again. She ruled half the world, yet never conquered death. Because in the end, it was not loss that destroyed her. It was the choice to never let it go.